Hey guys, so I'm very excited to be doing this video. I finally finished Metal Gear Solid 5 and I have a ton of thoughts on the ending and I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are. Go away if you haven't finished Mission 46. Spoilers everywhere. Turn away now if you have not finished the complete story of Metal Gear Solid 5 and finished Mission 46. Okay. Now that we are all on the same page here and we have finished the game, I wanted to talk about my thoughts about the ending. I wanted to give you guys a quick little review of what I liked about the game, what I maybe didn't like about the game. Let's get down to it. The beginning of Metal Gear Solid 5, you are waking up as Big Boss after his 9-year coma since Ground Zeroes. After the helicopter went down, you wake up in the hospital. The doctor tells you it's been 9 years. As he's telling you all of these things, he kind of gives you a look at your face and says, we need to change your face so you don't get killed. And then that's when you get to build your own character at the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 5, which I was very unsure of and I didn't understand why I was doing it. After you make your character and you write what your name is, they don't ever talk about it again until the very end of the game. You know, you go through the hospital, Ishmael, your little room buddy, helps save your life and gets you through this trial and tribulations of getting out of the hospital. I believed pretty much that he was hallucinating Vulcan, and I figured that might be Psycho Mantis the kid. I didn't know what was going on. Why is there a whale? Why is there a unicorn? Why is everything on fire? I thought possibly it was hallucination, something about being in a coma for 9 years, some kind of inner deep-rooted shit going on in his head. You get into a car accident with your buddy Ishmael who's driving. You guys both get knocked out after the collision. When you wake up, your buddy Ishmael's gone. You get out of the car and you find your buddy Ocelot is waiting for you. Thus begins your adventure into Metal Gear Solid 5, with all your missions and building your mother base and what is a very fucking epic, humongous game ahead of you. I don't want to get into the game just yet because I want to talk about that kind of as a separate entity in itself, but I'd rather just get right into it and let's talk about the fucking ending because that's what everybody's talking about and what everybody's discussing and fighting over, so I'm going to talk about it too. As you know, in the second half of the game, Chapter 2 is a lot of replay missions, older missions on a harder setting, and then sprinkled in are story-driven missions. So I, of course, went straight for the story-driven missions because I didn't really care to do the other ones unless I had to, which I think I did like 2. Finally getting to Mission 46, I'm excited. I'm like, oh my god, what's gonna happen now? And the title of the mission is The Man Who Sold the World. All of a sudden, we're waking back up in the hospital again. It's kind of like, what the fuck is happening here? I was very confused. I figured maybe it was a callback to that mission again. Are we just redoing this mission? It doesn't really make sense why I'm doing this. I'm watching all the cutscenes over again. And so our doctor comes talks to us. I'm like, oh my god, why are we doing this again? And instead of him showing you as Big Boss and then designing your new face, this time it is switched and it's backwards. And there is this young man laying in there in the bed and he's saying, this is your old face. We need to change it. We're gonna change you to this face. And it's Big Boss's face. So I was like, I'm confused here because it kind of looked like my character that I had built. I kept him really super random white guy with brown hair. So I was like, is that my character? I'm very confused. What is happening? And then he basically reveals to you the 2 pictures that he shows you, I believe at the beginning of the game. Anyways, this time you shift the pictures over and what was before just the pilot, Kaz, and you is now the pilot, Kaz, you, and medic. So then we're starting to have these flashbacks all of a sudden of the medic taking the bomb out of Paz jumping out of the helicopter, and him coming in front of Big Boss to try to protect him from the blast. Holy fuck. We're the fucking medic the whole game. The whole motherfucking game. We are not Big Boss. We are the medic. And it is further solidified to us by Quiet coming in. And from what I remember from the beginning is Quiet comes in and tries to kill me because I'm Big Boss and she's sent there to kill me. She's talking on the walkie-talkie and she's like, the person in the bed next to him saw me. Like, I need to take this guy out. He saw me. And I'm like, wait, I'm the person in the bed next to him? Who's Big Boss? The fucking guy in the bed next to me, Ishmael, my buddy, the guy that helped me through the beginning of the game, which I knew was Kiefer Sutherland's voice, so I had my suspicions, but I thought maybe it was like, with Metal Gear, anything is possible, but I assumed that maybe it was my subconscious, like, drive getting me through that hospital. Like myself had been split into 2, the broken and hurt side of me and the strong, willing side of me. That's what I had thought maybe was happening. Who Ishmael was possibly just me talking to myself. No, it turns out that is the real big boss, and he's helping you get through the fucking hospital. Vulcan, maybe he was a hallucination. Nope, you find out that Vulcan is literally, that is Vulcan's body brought back to life because of Psycho Mantis. That kid is fucking Psycho Mantis, although they don't really explain it that well. The third child stuff, you kind of figure out that is Psycho Mantis. He helps bring Vulcan to life because Vulcan has this huge hatred and rage and lust for revenge. And Psycho Mantis as a child is drawn to that need of revenge. So he feeds off of that and kind of just that becomes his leader. So he helps Vulcan in his quest for revenge to kill Naked Snake because of what happened and everything. The unicorn and shit, I don't know what that was about, but in the whale, I don't know. I don't think that's ever explained. When we get into the car accident, it shows a different side of that, and it shows while we're knocked out in the passenger seat, Ishmael, Big Boss, gets out of the driver's seat, Ocelot's waiting for him with his Triumph fucking motorcycle, a nice cigar, he's got his jacket on, and he is now gonna go into hiding. Pretty much is what's happening, and he's going to be pulling the strings from behind. He's going to be Big Boss. He's going to be building his nation, his outer heaven, and then eventually his Zanzibar land. And I was kind of totally blown away by that. There was a moment, Matt had even mentioned, like, is this all just a dream possibly? Like, while all this stuff was happening, that maybe none of it ever happened. Never expected that I was somebody other than Big Boss. So that was kind of a hard pill to swallow. We end up finding out because in Mission 46, Big Boss had given Venom Snake, as he would be known as from then on out, which is the medic, but he is Venom Snake for all intents and purposes. He is given a tape from Big Boss eventually saying, hey, do you know what's going on? We're the same person. You're your own person, but we are one, basically. They're both Big Boss. They both have the same ideology and everything, because when the medic was under and when they were both in their comas, Big Boss and the medic, Zero and Ocelot kind of formulated this plan, like maybe we need a figurehead. Well, it's kind of more Zero than Ocelot, but we need a figurehead of Big Boss just in case something happens to the real Big Boss. So since the medic was fucked up anyways, they made sure to take care of him. And then while he was in his coma, put him through hypnotherapy. Big Boss's memories and past are implemented into the medic's brain. And the real Big Boss later explains that the medic was their best soldier. He can handle it at this point with the help of Ocelot and Cause and everybody. The medic can kind of take his place while he goes underground. I understand it. I also understand that Hideo Kojima's idea behind this whole thing is kind of like a callback to Metal Gear Solid 2. We play as Raiden and we're seeing the legend Solid Snake from a distance, and we're seeing him not by playing him, but by being far away and seeing in on his story and looking at his greatness. What it all represents and symbolizes from, I've looked at forums, I've watched videos, I was obsessing over why did they do this? What is the meaning? What is the symbolism? I knew there was more to it than just like, ha, twist, ha, now everything's canon. It's a deeper meaning than that, and it's to the point where it's like, you design your character at the beginning, he is us. So it is Amanda playing as Big Boss for all of this stuff. And we've always been Big Boss, and we've always been Solid Snake because we're the ones controlling them. So I understand that, and on a deep fan level, I was very, I felt kind of like my wind had been knocked out of me, that I didn't really know how I felt about it. I was a little disappointed because I was like, wow, Big Boss is awesome. Look at all the shit we've been through together. Look at all these things he's done. Only to see that it's not him. It's the medic, technically, with Big Boss's memories. But I was a little disappointed, like, what the fuck is Big Boss doing during all of this? Why wouldn't Big Boss himself go to save Kaz? That doesn't make sense. That's his dude. To leave that in the hands of the medic, who technically has your brain, kind of, but it's not you. I didn't know how I felt about that. I still kind of don't. I understand it and I'm okay with it now, but I still have that feeling that, like, I really wish that it was Big Boss the whole time. is a little disappointing. Definitely thought this was going to be the game, as everyone had believed, I'm pretty sure, that this was the game where we saw Big Boss go from this hero, this legendary hero, this guy that we love because we've played as him, into this villain that we are no longer rooting for anymore. So I was really excited to see his demise into darkness and descent into darkness. And we didn't really get that because it's not even fucking Big Boss. All in all, he was still a pretty fucking good guy. He was saving kids, saving animals, saving wolves, taking care of Quiet, taking care of his men. The one part that really was very hard hitting was when the parasites round 2, we had to go in and investigate the medical center and had to slowly take out each one of our guys and girls point blank, just having to kill our people and hearing like staff member has died, staff member has died, staff member has died. That was very hard, and you see him kind of going into madness and sadness, and he's lost a piece of him, which is why he doesn't put them into the ocean. He makes them into diamonds so they're always with him, which is understandable, and it was very hard, gut-wrenching. That's not really necessarily, I still don't see him evil after that. I don't know. It's a very complicated thing. I gave myself like a little cushion of time to kind of get my thoughts in order and figure out how I really felt about it, and I didn't want to make a video too quickly just to make it. Just to get my thoughts out right away, because I said I need to cool off. I need to sit on this for a couple days. I need to do some research and see what other people are saying. And a lot of people are disappointed. A lot of people are pissed. A lot of people feel cheated. And that's understandable. Like, as I said at the beginning, I didn't love it. I've accepted it. The trailers, everything, I think it just geared us up towards one thing that we were expecting. And I feel like we didn't really get that. Now, like, having said all of that, I still love this game. I can't wait to play more of it. I have so much of this game left. I finished the story at about 54 hours. I'm only 37% done with the game. Like, I have so much shit to do still with this game. I didn't get the Quiet ending because I had the butterfly emblem, because one of you kind people told me to keep the emblem equipped without telling me why. I later found out that it's because Quiet has to leave. And I have not done the pause missions, which really confused me why she was in the second chapter trailer and I hadn't run into her. It's because I didn't go to the fucking medical thing and go running around randomly into buildings and rooms. So I still have that to do. I understand what that story is like. And then I need to go find the people from MSF that are wandering around the battlefield. So I do look forward to doing that. I look forward to doing a lot of side missions and completing the other missions that are on extreme and on stealth. I did think it was very interesting, the twist on, Venom Snake, who is the medic. He was the first big boss in Metal Gear. At the end, when he is listening to the tape from the man who sold the world, Big Boss, and Big Boss is explaining all of that stuff to him, on the other side it says Mission Intrude and 313. So it's the same mission as the mission in Metal Gear. So it goes to prove that that was Venom Snake that died. And it even says it later in timeline that it's Venom Snake that is killed by Solid Snake in the first Metal Gear. In the second Metal Gear, that is the real Big Boss fighting against Snake, and that is when he got very injured. And that's when Big Boss was taken and, put away for a while in that coma, and then all of the events, that are explained in Metal Gear Solid 4. I'm not going to get into that shit. This whole theme of the legend's always bigger than the truth. Like, Solid Snake always says, I'm not a legend. He doesn't see himself as others see him, and that it's contributing to that lore of Big Boss is the most legendary soldier ever, because he's technically now 2 people doing the amount of work, representing one. In this game, we find out that Eli is Liquid Snake. They try to throw us off at that one point when they say, your DNA doesn't match Eli's. He's not your clone. He's not a product of Les Enfants Terribles, when it was very much believed that he was. So that could have been a red flag from early on that I completely missed. I was like, that doesn't make sense. Something's fucked up. Did not ever assume this because my DNA wouldn't match him, because I'm not Big Boss. I was reading a forum and somebody had mentioned that maybe none of the characters in the Metal Gear series are technically really evil. They all end up, even in Metal Gear Solid 4 with Liquid Ocelot and all the people that we believe are bad guys, they're all trying to do something for what they believe is right for the world and what is good for the world. Whether or not they're going about it the right way, using nukes and stuff, but they're all trying to destroy the Patriots' control, Cypher's control. It makes sense. It's understandable. Big Boss just wanted to make a place where people like him, who are soldiers that have no other life other than being a soldier, had a place to be. Somebody made a point about Huey saying, I'm gonna tell everybody you're evil. When he got banished from Mother Base, he's like, I'm gonna tell the world about you. I'm gonna tell everyone. So maybe that is why everybody, believes that Big Boss is this evil person and needs to be taken out. This is another thing that's been confusing people on online forums and stuff, was Big Boss was in charge of Foxhound and sent Solid Snake, his best soldier, in to defeat Outer Heaven. But who was in charge of Outer Heaven in the end? It was Big Boss. So people are kind of speculating whether or not Big Boss wanted to take out Venom Snake. Maybe Venom Snake wasn't obeying his orders. Maybe Venom Snake had gotten too power hungry. We don't really know what happened. Maybe he sent him in, maybe sent Solid Snake in to take care of him and get rid of him, because there can only be one Big Boss. Or other people were saying that maybe he sent Solid Snake in thinking Solid Snake would get killed and Venom Snake would take care of him. There's so much speculation, so many theories going on. I don't know which ones to believe are true. I would like to think that he didn't want to take out Venom Snake after Venom Snake had done all that for him. There's just so much. It's so many fucking layers to this game, and I would really love to know what your theories are. Now I'm going to talk about things I liked about the game and things that I maybe didn't like about the game. This game, I cannot believe I spent 54 hours and it did not feel like 54 hours. The whole game is so immersive. The open world is such a different thing than we've ever seen in any Metal Gear game. Obviously, every other Metal Gear game is very linear. The graphics, amazing. I feel like there was hardly ever any weird glitches, any weird things happening. The only couple times that happened is if I was in a horse, if I was crawling in a weird position or trying to get up a hill. You could see the light glinting off of the blood on his face. The quality of graphics. I could go on forever. I'm not going to. It's just fucking look at the game. Put it in. Amazing. I don't have any complaints about it. The Fox engine is genius. I love the buddy system. I thought maybe I wasn't gonna like it because it's always been solo. Quiet as a character, she's fucking an awesome buddy. I used her a lot. Used D-Dog a lot. D-Horse, I named her Delilah and found out she was a man, so D-Horse kind of tranny, that's okay. Mother Base was totally amazing. I will admit I didn't play 3 Peace Walker all the way. I never had a PSP and never played it until I got the HD collection. And that was right before Ground Zeroes came out. So I made it through half of Peace Walker, I want to say, and then I looked up the rest on YouTube and watched all through. So I would have the knowledge to go into Ground Zeroes. So it was a very new experience for me, really getting into Mother Base. I tried avoiding it as much as possible in Peace Walker because I'm just not one of those gamers that really like I'm gonna upgrade all my equipment, I'm gonna do all this, and I just wanna play. So that was definitely a really cool experience, building the bases and seeing it grow before your eyes and seeing your people on the base. Each one of the missions was awesome. I will admit I was being very impatient in the whole first half of the game because I just want to get to the story. So I rushed a lot of my missions and I did a lot of shooting and running and gunning, which I never really did in a Metal Gear game. So it was actually kind of cool and it was a nice change of pace, but I probably could have done a little bit better on the stealth route, because it is a Metal Gear title. So this is where I'm gonna kind of merge my pros into cons a little bit here. Is the story was gripping enough to have me going, I need to keep going. I need to keep going through these missions even though they're hard and they're difficult and I'm getting caught and I'm dying. I wanna keep playing this game because I wanna find out what's happening and what is going on. Who is Skullface? Who is Zoff? There weren't that many cutscenes. It's a Metal Gear title. I was expecting a shitload of cutscenes. I was totally fine with the amount of cutscenes in 4, which every single person bitched about. To go into this game expecting the typical amount of cutscenes as a Metal Gear game is going to have and not getting that was very much a frustrating change for me. I wasn't happy about it. I would rather see people talking than hearing cassette tapes. I didn't even realize that the cassette tapes were holding so much of the story in them until shit started happening and people were discussing things that I hadn't known. Like it was old news. And I was like, what? I'm so confused. And so then that's when I started going through the cassette tapes and realizing, oh my God, this is the story is in those fucking cassette tapes. And it was a little disappointing. The voice acting was great. The story was great through it, but I would have really appreciated seeing it more. Like I said, I'm somebody that just wants to keep playing. I want to play. I don't want to stop and listening to stuff and reading documents. I'll do that later. I will totally dive into that later after I'm done with the main story. I'll play the game again, but this time read all that stuff and get all the secrets. That's just the type of gamer that I am. So, you know, that kind of was hard for me to handle. I did feel a little bit of like a stale part where I was just like, okay, I get it. I'm doing these missions. I'm saving these people. I'm doing these things that I need to better myself, my mother base, and my army. But I want to know the Skullface stuff. It felt like it took a while to get there. It's definitely not as gripping a story as any of the other stories. I think that's clear to say for anybody. And I still love this game, and I still spent 54 hours on it, and I'll still spend another 50 hours completing every other little thing that I can and playing Metal Gear Online, which is super fun. It's still quirky. It has its quirky, typical Metal Gear aspects. It has its typical like butt shots. It has everything a Metal Gear game usually has in it. It just has less of a storyline shown. I just do have my other obviously humongous problem that I have with this game is the fact that it's not fucking finished. I think 100% we have Konami to blame for that. I can't see it being any other way. Kojima would finish his fucking game. Eli stealing the, I can't fucking pronounce that Metal Gear, the Shagla whatever. With all the boys, it's just like, oh, whatever, game's over. It's like, what the fuck just happened? Well, there was supposed to be mission 51 and we didn't get it because they just didn't complete it, and it's just a damn shame. Like maybe that whole Eli segment should have been taken out then. But people are saying there was a third chapter that was supposed to be peace, and it was supposed to be that mission along with probably even more missions that were more story driven and story based, which just didn't happen. So I don't really know. I don't know if we'll ever know. This game is still amazing. It's breathtaking. I do think it's an awesome twist on the series. It does make more sense for canon wise. So many people have complaints about that. Well, Kojima kind of just answered half of your shit right there. And it's just another amazing chapter in the world of Metal Gear, and I will forever miss this series, and I can't believe it's over, and every time they say it's over, it's not, so there's still a part of me that's kind of hoping, but I thought that it was a great tie-in for the whole saga, and maybe it wasn't exactly what all of us fans were hoping for, but it was still a fucking great game regardless. It's a very emotional thing when your favorite game comes to an end, but I will forever be grateful to Kojima and old Konami and everybody that helped make such an amazing world that I was so in love with for many years, and I will always be in love with. So yeah, I'm just really curious to see what your guys' thoughts are on the ending, on what you would rate the game out of 10. I would rate it a 9.5. And so many people are giving it straight 10s because the gameplay's fucking awesome, but I'm not gonna give it a 10 because of the story and the cassettes. And I still don't know how I feel about the ending. I understand it, like I said, but I still just don't know how to fucking deal with it. I will be hopefully soon just busting out the rest of my gameplays. I don't even know if anyone's even interested at this point, but I fucking recorded it, so why not just do it? I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you, Kojima, and thank you for all you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.